Have you ever wondered what would happen if the kind-hearted, city-building slime we all know and love, Rimuru Tempest, actually turned evil? It's a chilling thought, right? The entire foundation of Tempest would crumble, and the world of Tensura would be plunged into chaos. Today, we're diving deep into that dark alternate reality. So grab your potions, steel your resolve, and let's explore what would happen if Rimuru embraced the path of a true demon lord. So, what could possibly push our beloved slime over the edge? The most likely trigger is a tragedy far worse than the one we saw. Imagine the attack on Tempest by the Kingdom of Falmouth, but this time, it's not just Shin and 100 others who fall. Imagine if the assault was so devastating that almost everyone perished: Shuna, Benamaru, Hakaru, Gopter. Even Ranga. Imagine Rimuru returning not to a wounded city, but to a graveyard. The great sage, in its cold, analytical voice, would confirm the utter hopelessness. No harvest festival could bring back this many souls. The despair, the rage, the soul-crushing grief. It would be enough to shatter anyone's spirit. In that moment of absolute loss, Rimuru's goal wouldn't be to build a nation where all races can live in peace. It would be to build a world where his enemies no longer exist. He would accept the seed of a demon lord not to resurrect his friends, but to gain the power for absolute, world-ending vengeance. His very core would change, from a protector to a destroyer. With this newfound, terrifying purpose, Rimuru's conquest would be swift and merciless. He wouldn't be interested in diplomacy or vassal states. His first target, the Kingdom of Falmouth. But he wouldn't just eliminate their army. He would march on the capital, and with his evolved powers as a true demon lord, he would obliterate the entire nation. Not absorb its people, but erase them from existence. The horrifying spectacle would send a shockwave across the world. The Western Holy Church, seeing him as the incarnation of evil, would declare a holy war. But their crusaders and their 7 days clergy would be no match for Rimuru, who fights without restraint, a Rimuru who views them as nothing more than obstacles. He would use his ultimate skills, like Beel's Booth, to consume not just their souls, but their entire armies, growing his power exponentially with each victory. He wouldn't stop at the Western nations. Every human kingdom that showed even a hint of hostility would be next. His strategy would be one of pure terror and overwhelming force, a stark contrast to the brilliant political maneuvering we're used to. His new nation of Tempest wouldn't be a welcoming melting pot. It would be a fortress of death, a silent monument to his lost friends, ruled by a king consumed by hatred. So, in this dark timeline, who would stand by his side? Most of his original subordinates would be gone, but a few key figures might remain or be drawn to his new, dark charisma. Diablo, for one, would be ecstatic. This is the master he always wanted, a being of supreme power who acts without hesitation. Diablo's loyalty would become even more fanatical, and he would serve as Rimuru's right-hand enforcer, carrying out his darkest commands with glee. Then there's the possibility of new, darker allies. Characters who were originally enemies might be drawn to his power. Perhaps Clayman, instead of being humiliated, would see Rimuru as the ultimate demon lord and pledge his undying loyalty. The moderate Harlequin Alliance Dare, Footman, and Laplace might also join him, seeing his destructive path as aligned with their own chaotic goals. And what about Veldera? Freed from his prison, he would find a very different friend. Confused at first, Veldera's loyalty and simple desire for fun might be twisted by Rimuru. He could easily be convinced that destroying kingdoms is just a new, exciting game. Together, a vengeful slime, a devoted primordial demon, and a catastrophic storm dragon would form an unstoppable triumvirate of destruction. Naturally, the world wouldn't just sit back and watch. A powerful resistance would form, uniting characters who would never have worked together otherwise. The first line of defense would be the other demon lords. Guy Crimson, recognizing the existential threat Rimuru poses to the world's balance, would be forced to act. He would likely try to rally the Octagram, Leon Cromwell, Milam Nava, and Luminous Valentine would all have their own reasons to fight. Luminous would see Rimuru as a threat to her own hidden nation and the holy faith she secretly guides. Leon would be forced to protect his own domain. Milam would be the tragic wildcard. Frey and Carrion would likely appeal to her, trying to make her see that her bestie is no longer the person she knew. Her internal conflict would be a major storyline. Beyond the demon lords, the Eastern Empire would see Rimuru not as a target for conquest, but as a world-ending catastrophe. Emperor Rudra would be forced to deploy his full imperial might, not for domination, but for survival. And then there's Chloe Aubert, the hero chronoer. She would sense the distorted timeline and recognize this twisted Rimuru as the ultimate enemy she must defeat to save the future. It would be a grand alliance of former rivals, all united against a single, overwhelming threat, Demon Lord Rimuru Tempest. This all leads to an inevitable, cataclysmic final battle. The stage would be the ruins of a continent, perhaps the very lands where Tempest once stood. On one side, Rimuru, Diablo, and a corrupted Veldora, leading an army of monsters drawn to their dark power. On the other, the combined forces of the remaining demon lords, the full might of the Eastern Empire, and the hero Chronoer. The scale of this battle would be beyond anything we've ever seen. Guy Crimson would face off against Rimuru in a clash of ultimate skills that tears the fabric of reality. Milam, her heart torn, would have a devastating confrontation with a cold, uncaring Rimuru, a fight that would be as emotional as it would be destructive. She might even have to fight Veldora, her fellow dragon, in a truly heartbreaking duel. Chloe, as the hero, would be the linchpin. Her fight against Rimuru would be a battle against fate itself. She, who was saved by the kind Rimuru in the original timeline, would now be forced to strike down his twisted counterpart. The battle would rage, with immense casualties on both sides. The world itself would begin to crumble under the sheer force of their power. It wouldn't be a battle for victory, but a desperate struggle for survival. And for the ending, it couldn't be a simple victory. That would be too easy. Here's the twist. As Chloe lands the final, decisive blow on Rimuru, a strange light envelops them both. The Great Sage, which has been silent and warped by Rimuru's hatred, activates a final, hidden protocol. It uses the combined energy of the final blow and all the souls Rimuru has consumed to execute its ultimate function, a one-time, causality-altering world-line jump. Rimuru's consciousness is flung back in time. He wakes up not as a powerful demon lord, but as the small, weak slime he was just after being reincarnated. The cave is the same, the memories, however, are not. He remembers everything: the joy of building Tempest, the agony of losing everyone, the monstrous acts he committed, the final battle. He remembers the faces of Shin, Benimaru, and everyone else, both their smiles and their lifeless bodies. He has been given a second chance, but it's a chance burdened by the horrifying memory of the monster he became. He is no longer an innocent salaryman in a slime's body. He is a being who has experienced the deepest love and the darkest hate. His goal is still to build Tempest, but now it's driven by a desperate, fearful urgency. He must protect his friends not just from the world, but from the potential for darkness that he now knows resides within himself. The story ends not with a victory, but with a heavy, haunting question: can someone who has seen the absolute worst of themselves truly find redemption? And that's our dark journey into what could have been. A chilling tale of loss, revenge, and a terrifying second chance. What do you think of this evil Rimuru? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this what if scenario, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next dive into your favorite anime worlds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.